Welcome back to Mr. Slover's Math. Today we're going to focus on order of operations. So you're going to be able to evaluate using order of operations. So the first question is asking you to evaluate the following expressions. 3 squared. Well, in red I said that squared means how many times you multiply it by itself. So really, if I were to expand this out, it's saying 3 times 3, which equals 9. If I look at letter B, I've got 2 raised to the 4th power. So that's saying I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which gives me 16. It is extremely common for students to do 2 times 4 and tell me this is 8. Or this one is 3 times 2 and it's 6. Okay? Notice that they are exponents. Okay? Down here, this is what we're getting to today. PEMDAS. So I tried to highlight what goes with what. So we have parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and addition, subtraction. So we're going to be given an expression similar to something like this, and we're going to evaluate using the order of operations. So we're going to follow what this says. Now notice that here these are the same color. Same with these, addition, subtraction. They're the same colors because it's whatever we see first in the statement we do. So if I see multiplication and division both in the expression, I do whichever one comes first. Same thing with addition and subtraction. I do whichever one comes first. Now, this says parentheses. Well, parentheses may look a little bit different than just parentheses. So we're going to kind of change it just a little bit to grouping. So you could have parentheses, which are normal shaped. You could have brackets, which are square shaped. You could have these curly ones, which are braces. You could have a square root, which we're not going to get into today. You could have the absolute value, which we're also not going to get into today. But all of those would be grouping symbols, and you would all perform whatever's in there first. So here's our example. I have these curly shaped things, if you will, so my braces. And then I have a bracket and parentheses. I always start with the innermost one. So 9 minus 8 first gives me 1. Then I have 2 plus, this is now gone, this now became a 1. So 2 plus 1 gave me 3. So now I have what's left is this 3 by the brace. I do 3 times 3, which gives me 9. Okay, this right here is just a visual. It's just like a checklist. So your order of operations, G is for your grouping. Okay, for purposes of this class, we mostly deal with parentheses and brackets. Okay, but other math classes may talk about square roots or absolute values or things of that nature. Okay, we're just focusing on these options. So if I look at letter A, it says evaluate each using the order of operations, and work is required, meaning we have to show our steps. So I'm going to read this. It says 16 minus 8 divided by 2 plus 14. Okay, well, I don't have anything that's grouped, no parentheses, no brackets, braces, any of that. I don't have any exponents. So I move on to multiplication or division, whichever one I see first. I don't see multiplication, but I do see division. 8 divided by 2. So 8 divided by 2 gave me 4. That was the only thing that changed. Everything else was still the same. So 16 minus 4 now plus 14. I don't have any other division. So now I do whatever comes first in the statement, addition or subtraction. So in this case, I see subtraction first. 16 minus 4 gives me 12. I still have the other 14 there. So now I just add again, 12 plus 14 equals 26. Yes, your calculator, if you plug all of this in, does evaluate for you. But the goal of the lesson is to check to see if you understand how to use the order of operations. That's the goal. So if we look at letter C, it says 4 divided by 2 plus 5 times the quantity 10 minus 6. So I start with the grouping. Do I have any grouping? Yeah, I've got some parentheses. I do that first. 10 minus 6 gives me 4. Okay. I don't have any more parentheses. You might be thinking, well, wait a minute, Mr. Silver, this is still in parentheses. I agree, but there's nothing to do in there. It's just 4. It's just a constant. There's no operations to do in there. Okay, I'm leaving those parentheses so I know that this is really saying 5 times 4. That's why I'm leaving it in parentheses. That's for me to help make sure I get the correct answer. So I did my groupings. I don't see any exponents. So now I either multiply or divide whatever comes first in my statement. Well, I see 4 divided by 2 first. So I do that. 4 divided by 2 is going to give me 2. The other stuff stays the same. Now I'm on to multiplication. Remember, I left it in parentheses, so I realize that this is saying 5 times 4. So 5 times 4 is 20. So now the last step, I don't have any more multiplication or division, so I add or subtract. In this case, I just add. 2 plus 20 gives me 22. Okay, so work through the rest of them. If you have questions, let me know. Make sure you follow the order of operations. Grouping, whether you have parentheses, brackets, braces, a square root later in your mathematical career, or the absolute value. Okay, those would all be groupings. Your exponents. So here's an exponent down here. Then multiplication, division, whichever comes first, and addition, subtraction, whichever comes first.